Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to work on a rainbow butterflies card. This is what it looks like, and here are the tools I'll be using. The Hero Art stamp set with the butterflies, and I have some cardstock and my card base. And I also will be using this stamp as a background, Paper Floral from Stamper's Journey. I have my Misty, of course, some VersaFine ink, my Versamark, my stamping heat embossing tool, and some ink blending tools as well. And I'll be using gold embossing powder and distress oxides in fired brick, spice marmalade, fossilized amber, peeled paint, faded jeans, and wilted violet, rainbow colors. So here we're gonna get started with the actual card base. I am not using a panel to glue onto here. I'm working directly onto the card base, and I'm going to do the background. I'm going to stamp the background with this stamp here, and I'm removing the foam in my Misty because this is a rubber stamp, so I don't need the foam. And here I'm just trying to line it up and make sure I get it on the full front part of my card here. So I needed to shift it up a little bit because I couldn't get it, since it's a rubber stamp, it's kind of thick, so I really couldn't get it right up to the corner. So I moved it up, just shifted it up, and now we're going to use the Versamark and get this stamp nice and juicy with all the Versamark ink. And then I'm going to stamp it down and press firmly. And I didn't need to stamp this again. It stamped pretty well the first time, so I was happy with that. And just clean off my stamp with a little bit of water and my microfiber towel. And now we're going to put all the embossing powder, the gold embossing powder, all over it. It looks so pretty as I'm applying it. It was fun just watching watching it kind of fall off and the design kind of stay behind. It was really cool, as you can see. It looks so pretty. It's a really nice stamp, background stamp. And I thought it'd be nice with the butterflies because it's kind of like flowers. So, you know, flowers, butterflies, that kind of thing. Okay, so now I'm just going to clean up, and we're going to take my heat tool and we're going to melt all this yummy gold goodness. I know I've been using so much gold, but I just love gold. And I love silver too, but I think I'll be using more silver when I start focusing on like winter themed cards, you know, with snow and things of that nature. I like the silver with that. Maybe, we'll see. But here we're finishing up, just melting all of this. And it came out really nice. I was really happy with this. And it really didn't warp. I was afraid it was gonna like really warp my paper, but it wasn't bad at all. So we're gonna set that aside, and now we're gonna work on our rainbows. So here's how I decided to do the rainbow butterflies. I'm just going to do strips of the rainbow. I'm starting from the bottom up, so I started with the wilted violet, and then I'll go into the faded jeans and move on up through the rainbow. And every two colors will go on a butterfly. So one butterfly will have the blue and the purple. One butterfly will have the yellow and the green, and then one butterfly will have the red and the orange. So half of the butterfly will be one color, the other half, you know, the other, and it'll go through the rainbow. You'll see. I know I'm probably not making much sense right now. So I'm just doing the strips of the colors, and then I'll put this back into my Misty, you'll see, and I'll start stamping the butterfly. Now the butterfly set from Hero Arts comes with 3 different layers for the butterfly. So the first 2 layers are basically designed to lay down the main color of the butterfly. So I will not be using those first 2 stamps because I'm laying down the color now through these stripes. So I'll just be using the 3rd stamp, which is basically all the detail in the leaves and the body and the antenna. So you'll see here, I'll grab that 3rd stamp on the bottom, which is the final layer when you're using the stamps, and I'm just going to kind of center it between the two colors and have, like I said, the top half of my butterfly will be one color and then the bottom half will be the second. I put in my foam back into my Misty because these are just, you know, it's not rubber stamps. So, and I'm using my VersaFine pigment ink in Onyx Black, and the first stamp I stamped it twice, but then after this just the one stamp was enough. So my first one is done, and now I'm just going to carefully line up the other one. I didn't clean off my stamp. You probably should if you decide to do a technique similar to this, because there is leftover ink on there, so when you're lining it up you have to be careful you don't shift it onto your paper because then you'll smear ink. But it worked out well for me. I made it happen. And here I'm doing the final butterfly. And I love it. Came out great. Clean off my stamp now. And then we're going to move on to die cutting these out. This set does have a coordinating die for the butterfly to cut it out. So you'll see here, I'm going to dry it real quick because it is pigment ink and I'm using the oxide as well. So I just wanted everything dry so nothing smears or anything. So I take the die and I'll show you lining up the first one and then I'll just go and cut them off screen. So I just line it up and I put a little bit of the blue tape, or the mint tape it's called, and here they are in the rainbow. Love it. So cool. Nice little touch. I thought it was different. I came up with this idea and I just figured, hey, let me give it a go, and I'm happy with it. I like the way everything turned out. So now I'm folding the base and I notice along that edge there's white. The stamp didn't cover everything. So I just cut out a piece of the foiled cardstock that I have, gold foiled cardstock. And so I'm dry fitting here. I'm trying to see how I can fit all the butterflies, and they overlap slightly on the antenna. You see the antenna goes over the next butterfly, but I'm okay with that. It's just a tiny overlap and it'll be fine. And so I'm going to use my tape runner here just for the gold edge, and there was a little bit of overlap, so I take my scissor and just take that off right there real quick. And now I decided I wanted my butterflies to be with foam tape kind of popped up a little bit. So I have some foam adhesive and I'll put it on the back of all my butterflies just like that. And it's coming together quickly, guys. Like, this is really simple, and it was a fun little technique. You know, I thought it was nice to have the butterflies in the rainbow colors like that, 2 colors on each butterfly. I thought it was a nice touch. So I'm lining up the bottom one first, and then the center one I'm just going to let the antenna from the bottom one kind of overlap slightly, and then the top one, same thing. Let it overlap just a little bit just so I could fit it all on the card, and I'm happy with that. And now I decided to take some glossy accents and just do the body of the butterfly with the antenna. I thought that would be a really nice touch to have that kind of shine on the actual butterflies, because, you know, I have the embossing on the background, which is shiny, the gold, and then I have that strip along the left side, which I didn't plan for, but nonetheless I like the way it came out. So I didn't want the butterflies to be completely just matte and dull, so I thought it'd be nice to use the glossy accents on the body and the antenna. I thought it would stand out a little bit. So it's difficult for you to see you know, with this lighting in the film, but as always, I always have pictures at the end and you'll be able to tell what the final product really looked like. But I thought that was nice. There you go. And now I'm going to work on the sentiment. I realized at this point, I'm like, I didn't choose a sentiment. So I have some black cardstock here. I thought it'd be a nice touch, and I'm going to do the embossing on the sentiment as well. And I didn't show it here, but this sentiment is from the same butterfly set, and it says hello friend. So I just put hello friend right next to each other. It's stacked in you know, in the stamp set, but I put it next to each other here to make a long sentiment. And I just used the Versamark, and then I'm going to use the gold embossing powder and my heat gun. And I'll just cut a thin strip of this after I heat emboss it. So you can see here. And then I'm going to cut it. I have my guillotine trimmer here. And I wanted to trim it down as close as I could to the hello portion of this sentiment. I didn't want too much black showing because I'm going to layer this kind of half off of the foiled cardstock that I put on the edge because I didn't want to cover up all that gold foil. It kind of would defeat the purpose. So I just wanted a thin as possible strip, and then I'll line it up. You'll see I'll line it up on the edge, on the side edge. I've never done a sentiment where it kind of goes on the side. You know, I always do my sentiments either centered or off-centered, but always going from left to right on the card. And this is kind of going up and down on the side, as you see here. So I decided to trim this down and do little fishtails on each end. Just cut that up real quick, and then I'll use my tape runner and tape that down, and this card is pretty much done. Just like that, guys. Really simple, but I think it's really pretty and it's very different. I don't know, I've never seen kind of like this design for a card, so I'm happy with it. I like it a lot. And there we go. Place the sentiment down. I had used some liquid glue to help me kind of give me a second to position it where I wanted it, because I knew I didn't want to cover the entire foiled cardstock. I just wanted it kind of hanging off the edge onto the background as well. So just cleaning up, and that is it, guys. Here's what it looks like. Like I said, I'm happy with it. I like it. I hope you guys like it. It's really simple but really fun. And if you're watching and you're not a subscriber, please do so and leave a comment and like the video. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. And as you already know, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.